people refer to you? When you use one name and when you use the other?
Artistically, they represent these two sort of different sides to me. I have my neo soul project with my band. I call that Peggy Hogan. That's like the more accessible, maybe, version of me. And then Hua Li is my solo electronic project. And Hua Li is like a little more rough around the edges, I think.
On the other side, how is the album going with Peggy Hogan?
It's just been super exciting to even have an album, I think. Because basically, in as much that Hua Li is kind of a new project for me, I feel like I've been doing this, like, laying the groundwork for getting here with Peggy Hogan my whole life. Like, I started writing little songs for voice and piano when I was like 8, you know. And I think, like, as soon as I started that, I realized it was kind of the thing I liked best. And I've sort of been pursuing that ever since. I feel like I went to university so that I could eventually have a band and write songs for it and kind of be this, like, neo soul band leader woman, you know. And I did it, and it feels great. I'm really super happy with the album. Evan and Sean, the guys in my band, are like the sweetest, most supportive people. And working with my producer Tyler was awesome. It was just so interesting to, like, really get into that process of what it means to be a recording artist and everything you have to consider about it too. It was like probably the most, like, formative experience of my life. So. I think Montreal is a place where identity building is something that's very much a part of a lot of people's lives. Especially given how strong the queer community is here and what a sort of, like, major cultural impact they have on, like, the nightlife even. So I think it's something that's on a lot of people's minds, and I think for me personally, I've undergone a lot of change since moving to Montreal, and I think a lot of that has to do with sort of figuring out my identity and becoming more comfortable with different aspects of myself, becoming comfortable with the idea of sort of having a split identity too, like not feeling like I need to, like, encompass all of who I am in any one project or night or moment ever. You know, it's like I can kind of just pick and choose who I want to be, which is a nice realization to come to.
Have there been any, like, major or even minor landmarks or events that help push Hua Li to like develop it into more of an equal personality to Peggy Hogan?
Yeah, I think so. Rough Diamond Collective, who are like a sort of queer hip-hop collective promoter group here in Montreal, kind of jumped on the project even before I really knew what it was. I was just sort of talking to Alex Heggie of Rough Diamond Collective one afternoon and was describing him what I was trying to do, and he was like, well, you know, we should probably throw you a show. And that show was the first time I performed as Hua Li. Knowing that at that point I wanted to kind of separate what I was doing as a, like, completely solo from my band project, but not yet having quite formed exactly, like, the complete identity or message behind that project. So that was definitely, like, a big push forward to have to kind of put together this, like, full set and kind of present this new project.
Are there any, do you feel any major differences in preparation or anything between performing live and performing for a recording in the studio?
Yeah, I think especially because while everybody myself included in my band, graduated from the jazz program in Concordia. So I think our philosophy when we perform live is very much this, like, yeah, anything can happen, and we know these songs, but if we don't, it's okay too, you know? We communicate really well. Sean and Evan are awesome. They can kind of like get through. I feel like I make the most mistakes out of anyone, so they're very adaptable to those moments. But yeah, I feel like there's the rehearsal process for performing is a little different, because I think we really like the idea of feeling fresh and kind of like anything could happen when we perform live. But of course, when you're going into the studio, you want to be able to like have something that your producer can work with, and things need to be a little more decided. So that was, I mean, we rehearsed a lot before going into the studio, and it was sort of this decision-making process, like laying out exactly how it's going to be. And I mean, being in the studio is awesome too, because you just get to be really indulgent with your own music. You know, you're just like chilling with your boys and singing your songs and like celebrating kind of everything that you've done together to that point. So that's really awesome too. I loved being in the studio. I can't wait to record my next album. But that being said, I love performing too. So it's nice. I'm in a good place right now. I get to do everything I like.
Past these